this is Linda from Craft on Cue, and I have a project I want to share, some more pages to my documented life journal. I'm going to backtrack just a little bit and go to week 17, which was the latter part of April, and the prompt was favorite shoes. And I think I showed you the background I had done in my previous documented life video, but I have finished it since, and it's titled Grandpa's Shoes. And here's a picture that didn't print very well off my computer, but it does give the gist of what this page is about. And those are my husband's feet and his tennis shoes. And why I like these so much is the symbolism here. That happened one day. He took this, he was being funny when he was waiting for me at Walmart. I was checking out, and it was taking a long time for this checker to get through the lady ahead of me, and so he went and sat down to wait and took his phone out and took this picture of his feet, which I would never think to do, but he's kind of a creative guy and funny, and so he did that, and then he sent that to me and I believe to our two daughters, and called the text Grandpa's Shoes. And what I like about it, it shows his humor, it shows his patience for waiting for me, and that he cares enough to wait for me when I'm trying to get through a long line. And just, I don't know, I just love this. So anyway, that's this page, and it's one of my favorites. And then you've seen all these pages, so we're going to move up to week 22. The theme was draw a house, and that's exactly what I did. The background here is jelly printed deli paper. Actually, it's not jelly printed, it's using the brayer with the paints. After you brayer that onto your jelly plate, you have a lot of paint on your brayer, and I use that on deli paper or sometimes book paper because I don't want to waste that paint, and that's what this background is. And I took some of my jelly print, and this is cardstock, and I drew and cut out this house. And then this is deli paper that's also jelly printed and stamped, and the edges, you can see the little triangles, which is on the edge of each of the pages of the deli paper. So I thought that looked kind of cool. And I used this rubber stamp that originally was for polymer clay, but it works great as it's the same kind of stuff, I think, as a rubber stamp. It feels rubbery. And so I used that here, used black soot around the roof, used my Ippo pen for outlining and also for the drawing. The Stabilo All pen was used around these blobs of purple that I'm going to call clouds because they kind of stood out to me on here as clouds. And down at the bottom is some flowers that were punched out with my EK Success punch that you've seen before, and it's just this wrapping paper that was left over from wrapping some gifts. And the sentiment at the top is from this book, and this is where I get all my book paper, Romancing the Ordinary, A Year of Simple Splendor by Sarah Ban Breathnach, author of Simple Abundance. And I had seen this quote on one of the pages, so I cut it out, and it says, "Why do we love certain houses, and why do they seem to love us? It is the warmth of our individual hearts reflected in our surroundings." So I thought that was appropriate for the week of houses. And that's that page. No, there's nothing inside there. The next page is for week 23. The theme for the week is gratitude. And I'd seen a tutorial on YouTube by a watercolor artist. Well, I don't know if she does other kind of art, but I've seen a lot of her watercolor paintings, and she is just simply amazing. And she did this fun thing where she put some water on the page and just kind of dropped it, and then dropped some watercolors on there. And then she, after it all dried, she drew flowers. And I thought that was so fun. So that's exactly what I did. I used the Twinkling H2O, so that's why you see the sparkle and shine here. And so I drew the flowers as I saw from the blobs of paint. And then I took my Ippo pen and wrote a few things I'm grateful for. What I'm grateful for are home, family, faith, good health, my marriage, and I could have just gone on and on and on, but that's what I did for this page. And that was, and this one, that's actually book paper with some Twinkling H2Os, and I drew over it because I believe I had really messed up on the flower underneath there and it looked horrible, so I just covered that up. And on this other page, I just wanted to share, let's see if I can get that in the frame here. This little flower, our granddaughter Morgan was showing me how to draw this one kind of flower, and she did it on some legal paper, and of course I love adding things like that in my journal, so I just wrote in here Morgan's flower. And for this along here, that is the prettiest, or the cutest I guess, washi tape. It's little houses. It's very thin. It's maybe it's a ½ inch, although I don't even think that, maybe 3/8. And it's just a bunch of little houses. I got it over at Jet Pens, and I put a little bit there and then a little bit on my journaling here, and I think that's about all I can say about that page. Moving on to week 24, that prompt is add book pages. So I pulled out one of the pages from my book that I wiped different paints and colors in, and I like those colors, how they ended up on that particular page. So what I did was I just tore this book page in thirds, and so that the writing just wasn't all in order. And then when I put it down, what I realized is, I guess this must have been gesso, I'm guessing, I put in here. I thought it kind of looked like a bird. So that gave me the idea of writing on eagle's wings. And I thought this kind of looked like a cloud. You really have to use your imagination on this one. But I took my all pen here and went around the edge of what looked to me to be a bird, or what I'm calling eagle, which is even a little more of a stretch of the imagination. Use my water brush to soften those edges, and then for on eagle's wings I used this Craft Smart paint pen in white, and that was about it on this page. Because that gesso, all the color in the background, that was just there. It just was how it was. And just journaling on the inside. So that was that page. Week 25's theme was hearts. And I love to do hearts. So the way I started with this is I used this Heidi Swapp stencil and put it down, and I don't know if I sprayed first with my pink glimmer spray or I put the modeling cream in Pearl down first. Anyway, it doesn't really matter at this point. And you know what I do think I did? I put the modeling and you can see it fits right there. I put the modeling paste first, and after that dried, I remember doodling around here, and I made a huge mistake because I used this pen also from Jet Pens, and it's a fine pen. I think it's a Feud, but what I discovered is it's not waterproof. So when I sprayed some of my glimmer spray that's clear to sparkle things up, these areas where it's just acrylic paint, it ran, and you can tell exactly where I had used that pen. So to recover, I got out my Ippo and tried to redo the pages or the parts of this that ran, and then continued to use this for the rest of it, and it worked fabulous. There's some dots here which you may or may not be able to tell. That's my Pearl paint pen. These little hearts were just little hearts that were punched out and sitting on my desk, so I just included them. And this little tab that says love, the purpose of that is we went to a very good friend's. Oh, you probably can't even see that. Let's see if I'm going to bring that a little bit. Let's see. I have a thank you note here from a son of very good friends of ours, and we went to his high school graduation party that weekend and drove over to Indiana, and he sent us the thank you note very promptly. I mean, we got that a couple days after we got back home, and that's just wonderful because we have many times gone to weddings or given gifts for different occasions to some people and never have heard back. So John, you did great sending this so quick, and we do appreciate that. Anyway, the background here is deli paper. That's just like that other one where I used the brayer on it, and the thank you note. And I liked how that stood up, so I ended up just doing love and some hearts here to coincide with this page. And we drove to Indiana. We live in Missouri, and always when we go through there, we stop at John Boo's, the outlet store, which is just up the street from their showroom and where they manufacture the booze blocks for the kitchen. Sadly, they were not open when we got back around, so we missed it. But I did pick up a brochure at the hotel we stayed at to remind me of the times they are open, and we'll hit it next time we go through. So if you guys are ever in Effingham, Illinois, you'll definitely want to take a half hour or so and go down to the outlet store for John Boo's, because the prices are fantastic. Next page is Bible verse, and this was a really easy verse for me to choose. I chose Joshua 24 verse 15. As for me and my house, we will serve the Lord. And I just color blocked it, drew lines with my Ippo. These are watercolor pencils, and that was how I did that page. Over here, I took some tags that I have and my blue leaded mechanical pencil from Pilot that I got also at Jet Pens. Love this pencil. It's the first one I've tried, and I'm going to get some others. And I just doodled around the edges, and I like how those numbers came out. Then I made a tall house. So this week is all about houses. And then this little house here, if you can see, is made from that little cardboard that you get in your Easter egg die kits, or many of them. And I believe it's just this thin, cheap little cardboard, and it's colorful, and you're supposed to pull these apart. They're perforated, and they have your egg stand up in them. Well, I like the colors so much, so I just drew a house, cut it out, doodled on the door and the windows and such. And that's to signify our daughter's moving day and them moving into their house. And that's just a tree. I used the same products that I used for that. I added some more of that stuff up here. So that's all gone. I think all my Easter stuff that I kept is gone now. And oh, and then we have this little ice cream cone, and our granddaughter made that for me, and so I included that. And that's the last page at this point. So thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time. God bless.